no longer. We will delay no longer. We are jumping back onto picks and bans. Like you said, pretty bog standard, almost identical, if not exactly identical bans coming in for both these teams so far.
Yeah, the literally exact same. Like we already pointed out, Trundle, massive pick for Missing. Probably the best Trundle that we have in the league right now. Ziggs as well have been a main one, and the Rise gone as well. So obviously EDG, very reminiscent of that game 5 where they did not want to have him moving all over the map and finding these big run plays. But the LeBlanc actually being substitute for the Lee Sin, which means that the Lee Sin is going to be locked in straight off the back.
Was just about to say, you said you can't really give Scout this LeBlanc, and it is technically a flex as well. We've seen JJ pick it up, we've seen Flandre pick it up. This is something they can rotate depending on matchups, and now WE, they've got to figure out what they want to do. This time around, they're looking at the Olaf, they're looking at things that can maybe snowball a little bit harder and give them that momentum in the jungle.
Yeah, I feel like Olaf Syndra is probably going to be the play here, right? We already talked about, look, realistically, Shanks has had 3 champions that he's worked on. LeBlanc, Rise, and Syndra. LeBlanc and Rise off the board. The Syndra would, in theory, be the next go-to, but maybe having this Lee Sin does throw a wrench in the works, because the mobility of Lee Sin in that mid lane does cause you many, many issues. So it looks like they might actually go, hang on, we want to see a little bit more of this EDG draft before we guarantee ourselves a Syndra. I don't want the Aphelios though. I think going towards an Ashe, going towards a Varus gives yourself so much more opportunities. Ashe in particular works really well against Varus, works really well against the Aphelios. So I like that you're kind of enabling yourself in that bottom lane with this pick, but also getting that Enchanted Crystal Arrow to set up these early plays for the Olaf on that bottom lane.
Well, with the Lee Sin locked and now the Syndra, so we are going to see that Syndra potentially also flex as well, can go bot side, but look at the power picks EDG are able to pick up with this Jace, Syndra, Lee Sin. So much damage, so many ways of just finding champion and killing champion.
Yeah, a lot of lockup from the Syndra will enable both the Lee Sin and this Jace incredibly well. So it means now you're kind of looking at WE going, okay, what do we want to do? In theory, you want to take that mid lane champion for yourselves right now, get that counter towards the Syndra. We've seen things like the Silas kind of come out before. It's been a little bit iffy, but we're actually just going to go to the Azir. Okay, so Shanks going back towards kind of what he was more known for in the LDL, which was these control mage stalls, and bringing that up to the table.
Wow, see exactly how we'll end up going for it, but the Azir locked and loaded, and now WE, knowing that they're able to ban away some of these power picks from Viper, you could see the Varus and the Aphelios all locked away. I wouldn't even mind maybe seeing the Thresh banned away here, just to try and make sure you get a little bit of a better matchup in bot side. See what they're able to go with. Where do you want to see EDG take their draft?
Yeah, I think for EDG, going to be looking to ban away the top laners. Breathe, you know that you're going to be going into this Jace, so maybe they go towards the, well, Camille obviously take off the board, maybe they take away the Lucian as well, just get rid of some of these matchups that can really lock them up. But again, I'm kind of surprised to see Kennen toss the wayside here. I actually thought this was going to be a really big pick for both these sides. It was so impactful for Breed throughout playoffs. Flandre had some phenomenal performances on that pick as well, but we'll have to see if it is going to be banned away by EDG here.
See what they want to go for. Aphelios and Varus both banned away, so we're going to see something different from Viper in that bot side. Got plenty in the tank. Man has got a champion Ocean. I'm never going to be unconfident on him. Pretty much picking up any AD carry, and now EDG ban away the Camille. May look to try and ban away another soul laner in that top side, just to try and give Jace that little bit of extra freedom. I wouldn't honestly mind seeing the Kennen banned away. Go for that big engage tool that would be taken away from Breathe, and maybe you just keep yourself a little bit more. But no, they're actually going to go full for the Malphite. Wukong's still available though for WE.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking here for EDG, and I'm worried for them. Like, you've got a composition here that you're probably going to have to go for the Ezreal, right, here, because you're like, well, what other AD carry is there? You're trying to then play at range with the Syndra, with the Jace, with the Ezreal, and then you can try and take an engage support if you want to. But ideally, you probably want to take the Braum, which WE are hovering, because you want to try and play a disengage style, but you got an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which makes it super easy to engage for WE. Even the Emperor's Divide can set it up. It's why they're banning away the Malphite as well, because they're like, holy goddamn, if we give away more engage to WE, we're in so much trouble right now.
Well, Braum locked in as well, and it's something that Freljord bot lane can do is just so much early game pressure, the slows, the stuns. There's just so much to be aware of. You get landed with 1Q with the approach velocity onto the Ashe. You got so many ways of chasing down your opponent. Now EDG, like you said, they had to go for the Ezreal. There wasn't really a hell of a lot really left for them to do, and it looks like they're going to be fully going into that full poke comp if they do lock in the Karma, but this time around they're still feeling like they need a little bit more safety, a little bit more engage.
Yeah, I think the Alistar's the best bet here. I think you get both the engage tool if you manage to poke WE low, but also one, a disengage tool, and well, three, the basically the opportunity to have someone who can tank the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, pop the Unbreakable, and then try and walk away, because you need somebody who's going to be able to play frontline, and EDG just didn't have anything else left in the tank. So honestly, I think Mako going for the Alistar, although it sucks in the laning phase for him, is the best option for the rest of that composition.
Well, WE got themselves Breathe a counter pick in top again, so he has the choice of everything. He's gonna go for that Wukong. Let's soft counter into those mid to late game skirmishes, and a good engage tool to follow up with something like an Olaf and an Ash Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, for Breathe, this is a matchup where you can you kind of get pushed in, you struggle that early, like 1 to 5, but as soon as you hit 6, Flandre is gonna be like right the way off. If you get that engage for Breathe, you can one-shot the Jace, so certainly Breathe having some nice opportunities there. But we've already kind of talked about it. WE, insanely strong engage tools, great bottom side of the map for Beishang to try and work off of, where you can look to try and set up these early dragons. You got good priority in that mid lane for Shanks as well. So honestly, I think for WE, you play bottom side of the map here and look to then play off these late game team fights where you can look for these engages on towards EDG. Whereas for EDG, it's kind of a case of win lane, win game. If you can hammer home some of these early plays, you get Flandre ahead, you get maybe the scout ahead on this Syndra, you can look to like burst people out before those fights kick off. But otherwise, I think you just run afoul of what WE have drafted here.
And we'll see now with WE, we'll have to be more afraid of the Lee Sin or the LeBlanc going into Game 3, depending on how this one goes. And for EDG, you could put yourself one game away from that 3-0, putting yourself into the LPL 2021 Summer Finals and against FPX next Thursday. WE, though, I feel like they've got themselves some pretty decent options. They've got themselves some opportunities, and the most important thing compared to Game 1, they've got themselves some engage.
Yeah, a lot of engage. This is a pretty nice setup coming through for WE.
Making up for Game 1.
Yeah. Well, God, I'm kind of worried for EDG here. I think that this is might have been kind of the reverse of Game 1, where they're going to be in a really good spot for WE.
We'll have to wait and see. We're going to jump straight onto the riff for Game 2 of this best of 5. WE looking to equal it out to a 1-1. EDG looking to set themselves up for that clean sweep of a 2-0 setup. And again, we'll see exactly what both these teams have in their back pockets coming into this game. Both teams really want to try and get themselves back into the finals. As I said, it's been a long time for both these squads, both these series. And we've seen now Flandre, he's probably going to lose his flash.
Yeah, really nice job from WE here, chasing him down.
I mean, Undertow lands. There's the second one. There's the flash, but a flash forward there from Beishang. Accelerated gate, going to keep Flandre alive. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you do not take a skill before you see your level 1 engage. Oh, as I say that, Scout, though. Ooh, he's all right. Breathe can't get on top of him without using his flash. So good start here for WE. They expend the flash of a jungler for a flash of a top laner.
But also, they lose one of the pots that are on Flandre, and having the acceleration gate taken level 1 opens up Breed so much more to be able to play a bit more aggressive and have a little bit of an easier time in this top side of the map. WE, with the late invade as well, cause an absolute ruckus for EDG in these early stages.
Really are. They're just putting in full bull horns ahead, saying, look, we don't care where you're going, but Elk needs to be careful. And just gets punted over the side. He'll be fine, as EDG just want to try and get themselves to the lane first, and they should be able to get themselves an experience advantage, as nope, Elk was just in line there for all 3 of those minions. So level 2 going to be an equal pretty much state for this bot side.
Yeah, and honestly, Viper Mako kind of got to be careful here. They don't want to shove this wave because they know that you're basically playing in a split match scenario. Beishang, oh, actually, as I said, that Beishang going to pass his way over onto this top side to try and contest again.
Oh, well, look at the bot side, and my, Dagda, this is so aggressive from both these sides. Red buffs were stolen, and now we can see the junglers going at each other. Flash forward from Scout, he gets the Scatter of the Week down. He's able to get the kill, and EDG get themselves first blood. It was chaotic, but in the end, nothing changes. EDG finding themselves an advantage.
Yeah, you had the push from Scout in the mid lane. Beishang had no flash. JJ knew he could go for the aggressive play, so you end up with that victory there for EDG. So despite the fact that they could have gone for a split map, it's JJ who's coming in ahead of the Olaf and getting so many more of these camps. We're going to catch this in the replay. Beishang showing was actually a pretty big mistake because JJ instead of trying to clear out the rest of his side, went from Gromp straight to red buff. I don't think Beishang was expecting this, thinking JJ would clear out a bit more of his camps. And now Beishang not in a position to try and follow up. A Scout flashes forward and able to pick him off.
Nicely done here by EDG, and that is going to be a pretty decent advantage now for this Lee Sin. JJ going to have a little bit of extra cash in his back pocket. You can see it's already equated to about 300 gold leads, so see where he's able to make more advantages happen. But with no flash for Beishang as well, I feel like it was a little bit greedy to be going for that and not really thinking about it. I suppose he was just looking to try and make sure that he could make advantage of Flandre without his flash, but it just felt a little bit two-tone, a little bit too obvious, and right now, EDG, they're going to be feeling the warmth of that kill, the warmth of the lack of pressure, if you will, knowing that they're going to be able to do something like this. Flandre able to push in, breathe, and know that he's just not going to be ganked.
Yeah, and another wave lost to Breathe there. Was just about in range for the experience, but definitely not in a comfortable spot as JJ, I don't think he was spotted by Shanks. So Breathe needs to look for this reset here. Again, we know we're playing in this split map scenario, so you can see Elk pushing in heavily on the bottom side. He's getting chip damage onto that bot lane turret, whereas for Breathe, needs to play very liberally with his TP, get that reset in, and make sure that he's going to be able to stay safe.
Oh, here we go. Both junglers, though, are coming up to this top side with the Krugs as the prize, so JJ does not really want to fight Beishang just yet. Both TPs are down now for either top laner, and Shank's gonna feel a bit sore going into this matchup. It is favored towards Syndra in these early stages. Of course, you're just expecting that in this matchup, but for Shanks, I do think he's going to be fine once he gets onto his first item just to be able to clear waves.
I mean, it's not even a terrible matchup because honestly, you just play at range as Shanks, right? You pop down a soldier and then stand right the hell back. You're like, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to touch you. And as long as those dark spheres don't land, you're totally fine. So he's just going to farm it out, keep himself in a nice spot. You can see CS bang on even in that mid lane as well. So it's not the worst of scenarios. I actually think, despite the kind of the early shenanigans, like even if we take that kill out of the picture for EDG have been winning this early game. Like the top lane where Olaf ends up clearing out the Krugs, that was a level 1 Krugs. You've got like your next round of camp stall spawning for JJ on this bottom side, and if he wants, he can just go and clear them out, but looks like he's going to hover in this mid lane, see if he can help out Scout. Not sure if I've lost Oshina or not. Are you still there, Penguin? Okay, might have lost Penguin for the moment. Okay, so Penguin has disappeared for a little bit. He's going to have some tech issues, but we'll get him back in as soon as possible. As we look down towards his bottom side, though, Beishang hovering, looking for the dive. Missing, can actually start to tank this up as they start to go forward. Mako will need to make some sort of miracle play here if they hope to keep this. As they look for the dive damage, initially on towards Mako. He gets a good flash forward, gets the headbutt, and that's going to be missing going down. Viper flashes away. Beishang, he's now stuck under the turret, but it's Elk tanking it up. So Beishang will be able to stay there. They're eyeing up the repeat dive, but Mako goes for the headbutt, not able to get the pulverize as Elk playing just on the edge of tower range. This could set up Beishang so well. Mako gets the heal, gets the hammer down from Beishang though. That's going to be the kill as the TP from Viper. Now to finish off the low health Olaf. He's running, he's gone, and Viper just with the snipe before the cow is able to get the kill. Nicely done by Viper, and a bit of a botch play coming in from the side of WE. You end up going 2-4-2, and EDG still have the TP to get back towards this. As we look at the replay, like Beishang doesn't actually end up getting a huge amount done here because of that great headbutt coming through from Mako. Beishang has to flash back in. Mako gets the double headbutt then again. And just too many low health bars here. Beishang's trying to see if he can heal up off the wave, but Mako playing keep away under the turret does such a good job at delaying this play. And honestly, I think WE, they kind of just forgot about the TP, not expecting Viper to come back into this play and giving over another kill towards the bottom side of WE. However, we're going to have to take a quick look at the map. I'm now understanding that I don't know if Lyric has the same sort of control as I do in this scenario, because he's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I am back. I am ready to set myself up. And thank you. Your play-by-play was fantastic. Thank you so much. My internet decided to die, and you got yourself a nice little play in that bot side. So Coming back into this one now, you can see EDG, like you said, having a bit more of an advantage as they are just able to capitalize on what was effectively a little bit of a botch dive in bot side for WE. It ends up being a 2-for-2. And this for WE now is things start to get a little bit rocky, a little bit uncertain as you're starting to move towards this, 8 minutes where the Rift Herald spawns. You're looking at dragons. This is where I want to see now what WE can make of it. Otherwise, I feel like EDG are just going to run away with the map.
Well, I think the big thing here is that, like, the strong side of the map for WE is... Oh, hang on.
Oh, we're going to go in. There's just too much damage. The Dragon's kick into the Unleashed power is just too damn much. And that's another quick kill. And we talked about the power of this Lee Sin. And my God, is it coming up dividends.
Yeah, it's doing work now. And I wanted to highlight that, like, the bottom side of the map for WE is the strong portion, where you want to see them, like, being able to use the pressure that Ashe and this Braum have, being able to go towards these early dragons. They've ended up botching the play in bot side. Now you've got the kill going across towards Scout in the mid lane as well. They're rotating Elk and missing up to try and go for the Rift Herald, but you still have to be so careful since Shanks is only just returning to the map.
Yeah, well, looks like it is going to be enough of a dissuader for EDG to say, look, we don't have our bot lane here, so WE send Elk and Missing to the mid lane. They eventually get themselves back in, so they'll lose a couple of minions, but it was a cannon wave, so actually not going to lose that much at all. They'll just lose a plate as such to the bot lane of EDG, and I like this from WE. They're just saying, look, we know where our strong point is, like you mentioned, our bot lane. So wherever our bot lane goes, you cannot contest, and that is exactly what they did to guarantee themselves a Rift Herald.
And nicely done. You don't even lose that much on the bottom side either. You lose a little bit of a wave, but Elk able to collect most of it, and also only a single turret going across. So net positive coming through for WE as long as they can get the charge off that Rift Herald. And I'm kind of curious as to where we're going to see this. In my eyes, the no-brainer seems to be in bot side. I think you just unlock Ashe from the map. And especially something that WE have done with Elk in the past is kind of use him as like a pseudo jungle or support roam, right? Especially when he's on the Ashe. They'll use him like push up towards this top side, surprise the opposition, where you end up with this Enchanted Crystal Arrow and an Ashe coming out of nowhere and setting up for people like Breathe to follow up on the plays.
And with the supports now roaming down, Elk pretty much has the run of the bot lane here. And there's a little bit of a ward, though. You got to be very, very careful of that TP play that could come out. You have got TP for Scout, no TP for Flandre, but should be up very, very soon. Dragon has been started here by WE. This is definitely a moment here for WE to try and make themselves back into this game, as Flandre going to get cycloned on and flashed away. He does not win that fight anymore, and Breathe has survived the early levels and should be totally fine taking on this Jace.
Yeah, as soon as you get access to that Cyclone, you've got kill pressure in that top lane matchup, and you can see it there, right? The only saving grace there for Flandre was how close he was to his turret, but now Breed's going to start equaling up, and especially if Flandre has to then use his TP to get back to lane, you open up WE to be the ones that make plays like dives onto this bottom lane turret alongside the Rift Herald. So you can see Flandre, he's desperate to stay in this lane despite the low health bar, because he knows if he ends up using that TP, the rest of the map is going to suffer.
Now Flandre needs to play so careful. Doesn't have great vision control in this top side. Has a scuttle and maybe one ward there, which will actually spot out Beishong, so they know exactly where this Olaf is going to be. Flandre should be able to get that one going for himself. But Scout, actually taking a very unfavorable trade in this mid lane. Going to try and reset. Of course, has got his teleport available to him. But now WE, they've got the run of this mid and top side. Flandre's just got to get out. He cannot defend this anymore, and that's going to be another lost wave. But no, he decides he wants to keep going for this because Alistair's roaming up.
Alistair's moving, JJ's moving now. They realize fairly quickly that Beishong's up here, but again, like, I don't want to see WE playing towards this top side. I want to see them bot lane, but even if they leave Elk up against Viper in this bot side, Elk should get the push, should be able to chip away at turrets. So as long as like nothing happens in this top lane, it's still WE going to be able to win out with pressure on the bottom side.
And they know exactly where Mako is. Great ward here. Breathe is in total control of knowing exactly what is going on. He will take an accelerated shock blast to the face, and now they know there's 3 people top. Viper, you're all on your lonesome, buddy. You got nowhere to go. He will not get his ultimate off in the end. Missing goes golden. Not quite sure about that one, buddy. Is they're going to try and maybe trade this one back. Scout, though, has to flash away. He's got himself some concussive blows stacked onto him. And now WE are running through the paces. They're the one who are picking up everything. EDG are kind of getting caught out.
Yeah, Shanks in the mid lane as well. 2 turret plates, bot and mid. Now, JJ,
Oh, he doesn't have to. It's call an ambulance, but not for me. As he goes straight in onto the Shurima Shuffle, right into the Emperor's Divide. But there's a teleport coming in the spot side, missing an elk. Gonna try and back away from this. Rift Herald gets dropped down here, and it's gonna be another teleport coming in. That's gonna be Viper joining the party. As you can see, Elk and Missing have 4 members of this party that they don't want in their house. Get out of here, my friends. As mid lane is now being faced down by WE. They almost get that tower down. Good Dragon's Rage kick from JJ to disengage, but the rest of EDG is now pushing and pressuring on the spot side. And while all this has been happening, Dagda, look at the top lane. Breed's just been PvE.
Yeah, EDG are like running around the place trying to put out fires, but they don't realize that fires are spreading everywhere that they are not. Breathe now getting 2 plates top. You got 4 plates in the mid. You've already got the 3 plates in the bottom lane, and JJ's in trouble.
He's in so much trouble, but he knows the tower is still the more important objective. WE will take the first tower. They'll take away that last plate as well, and WE find themselves with a 2,500 gold lead out of just pure chaos from EDG. EDG just panicking.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to claw something back. Scout invest that TP bot side, so they're like, right, let's see if we can make something happen. But now you don't get any sort of answer. And honestly, like, this is going to wall back now. This is the dive onto Viper where we just said, look, Viper, not in a good spot. I do agree, Missing, suspect on the stopwatch, but you know what? Not a huge amount lost. Either way, though, as you said, massive 2k gold lead now opening up for WE. The big thing to keep your eyes on, though, is that we have the double teleports now available for both solo laners. Dragon is up in a minute and a half. You're gonna have the Rift Herald up in just under a minute as well. Like, these are now plays that you can look for as WE and still have contention down towards the Dragon in just around about the same time.
And the funny thing is that 2,500 gold lead was created from a ward. One ward that spotted out Mako and JJ in the top side. That little bit of information was enough for everyone on WE to fully commit and say, we know exactly where we need to be, and they've gained so much for it. Everyone watching, if you're playing League of Legends, buy wards and use your wards. God damn it, I'm sick of seeing negative scores on the ward scores. But we're going to see top side as EDG now lose Flandre as the rest of WE are just making plays around the map.
I mean, easy pick-off. Breed gets the flash forward, gets the essentially the kill already, and it's just going to be the rest of WE there. Now, again, this is what we're talking about. Make the play top side, so that then you've still got the double TP to get towards the Dragon. So even if EDG try to trade, they're just not going to be able to do it in time. And even still, WE, 20 seconds to get down towards this bottom side. They can reset and look for a fight at this Dragon as well.
And we talked about this in our pre-game. We talked about how WE like to play the game. WE love the skirmishes. They love team fights. They love just running around the map. EDG love controlling the pace. They love having control over the map. That's not what they have right now. They're going to lose top tier 1. Yes, I don't even know if they're going to lose the Dragon at this stage, but the Rift Herald is going to be dropped down as well, so they're going to lose tier 2 as well in this particular sense. And this is just WE constantly pushing forward. It's now a 4,000 gold lead. They're still pushing in forward, and there's nothing EDG can do to respond to it as, oh, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow almost lands. Tier 2 does go down. Flandre backs himself away, does lose his flash almost immediately off of spawn. And the rest of WE are here just to try and get away, as we see now. Missing might be in a little bit of trouble, but enough soldiers from Shanks is enough to dissuade the rest of EDG. And you can just go for Dragon again, so you can get yourself everything in topside, reset, and go back bot and pick up the Dragon as well.
And remember what we said, EDG, they needed to win lane, win game, because this composition is not going to do well against what WE have. And when Breathe is styling on Flandre, having hit this level 10, having the Divine Sunder now completed alongside the Tiamat, he's in a phenomenal spot. These team fights are going to look great for WE. And as EDG, you just don't have enough keepaways to deal with everything WE is thrown at you. You've got a headbutt, you got a dragon kick, but you got a monkey and a Viking and a pigeon who are all trying to run you down.
That sounds terrifying. That actually sounds terrifying. I just imagine an old homeless man with a monkey on his shoulder and a bird just swooping at you. Like, I'd run away. I don't know about anyone else.
Like
I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
Yeah. It's like you're playing an RPG game and you've run into the old shaman who's in a hut.
Yeah, literally what it kind of feels like to me. As we see now, WE, they got themselves 2 Dragon. It's going to be a Cloud Soul and a Cloud Rift. They have themselves a 3,000 gold lead. EDG now in a little bit of an issue now as they try and crawl themselves back. They did get a tier 1 in top side, so they do have that one going for them. As Missing tries to get some decent vision down for his team. WE going to get some resets as we look at some of the items. And you got some mythics being picked up now. You actually have double items here for Elk. He's got the Quinzu's Rage Blade on top of the Immortal Shield Bow, so he's looking very, very good at just single target damage and taking down someone as soon as they're in his face.
And especially when you have so much control of the map for WE, right? Like, how do you try and contest any of the vision for EDG? You just gotta send Mako on his merry way and hope that the coast is clear, because otherwise, Enchanted Crystal Arrow to the face, he'll have to prop Unbreakable, then you end up with, like, Glacial Fissure, you got slows coming through, that Alistair just can't survive, and you can see here, right? You try to contest vision for 1 second, ooh, that nearly connected.
Elk looking to try and maybe predict the safeguards from JJ onto Viper and maybe catch somebody out, but you have the option of doing this now. Your ult is on probably like a minute, maybe a minute 20-second cooldown. It's not very long at all. You've got yourself plenty of options to go with, so you can throw that out and see what you can go. But I will say for WE, they haven't cleared out all of the vision just yet, and ooh, that Syndra still hurts.
Yeah, Syndra definitely going to be hurt, especially as it looks like she's actually... Ooh, wait, breathe?
He's fine.
Yeah, they're going to be looking towards the Rabadon, or sorry, the Seraph's Embrace, and more than likely then a Void Staff directly after for Scouts. So Scouts in a reasonably okay spot, but there's the TP.
TP is going to be Viper coming back in just to join the rest of his team. Jay's still up on this top side. Midwave has been pushed in here by Shanks as we look to maybe go for something. The red buff will be taken away from its natural habitat as they try and take it down. They will smite down from JJ. As the rest of EDG do defend bot tier 2, but Shanks pushed in mid, which means that the rest of WE with control of this jungle can move in, get some chip damage onto that, get themselves back into control.
And you can continue to do this as WE, right? Breathe, shove in top. Shanks, shove in bot. As long as Elk is able to get on towards that turret, you can full collapse, and your dive potential is insane as WE, especially when you've got Breathe with that Cyclone in the mix, knocking up everyone underneath the turret. You got a ton of damage that can come through very, very quickly, and easy ways to like stop the re-engage as well if EDG try and collapse, because you got Missing who can set things up, Emperor's Divide to shove members away. Like, you've so many opportunities as WE, and that's not even looking at like Dragon in 2 minutes that they'll be kind of forcing EDG to fight for. The Baron take on WE is insane as well, so you've so many different things that you have to watch out for on EDG's side.
Well, there is obviously still that caveat on EDG. If you find a champion, you got a numbers advantage, you can delete them. A good Lee Sin kick here from JJ, got a priority carry into the back of the pit, or sorry, into the back of the team fight would be enough as well. So WE, they're not home and dry just yet. Still plenty for EDG to come back into this as we do hit the 20-minute mark. 3,000 gold, still the distance or the difference between these two teams. And Baron has just spawned as well. And I do love the True Shot Barrage there from Viper, just respecting the fact that WE are one of those teams that will just start it off spawn. If they find themselves an opportunity with the good resets, they'll just go for it.
I think for EDG, your biggest hope here is just like, all right, we get this like Scatter the Weak into an Accelerated Shock Blast. We burst out maybe Beishong or Breathe before he can really get going. But if they're in a position like this,
oh, we're going to see there the Ash Arrow has been tanked up by Mako, who has popped the Unbreakable Will, so he will not have that for this next fight. As we can see, great Scatter the Weak, though, onto Elk, and Missing stops everything from WE, and you can see they have to back away. They cannot move forward with this. They're trying to land on their toes. They're trying to see if they can get Breathe onto this back line, but it's just not really coming out for them. Elk using that red buff and that Immortal Shield Bow passive life steal to get himself back up to a healthy position. And this is 50 seconds before this dragon even spawns, and right now it actually looks like it's EDG using their pokes so effectively to just keep WE at arm's length.
Yeah, you couldn't get the engage from Breathe onto the priority targets. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow was already used, so now they're kind of just being kept at bay. And Scout in behind the turret, trying to push them back. With 30 seconds, these resets are going to be late for the Dragon.
Yeah, we will see Viper feeling confident as we go for Breed. He's behind everybody. TP going to be coming in, but the tower should fall before he can do it. That's huge. This is a 4v5. The Accelerate Shockback keeps Elk and Missing away. You can see the flash away from Beishong. There's the kick right onto everybody. Normally, that's a terrible thing to do, but EDG make it work. They find a pick. They get the Dragon. They honestly might look for even more.
Yeah, especially with the top laner down, TP's now used. They can try and move around and look for more picks. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, though, is going to be up very, very shortly, and that's the dangerous ability that WE have available, as WE, they've gone straight for the Baron.
They've just got in for it, but you can see EDG, they smell something's up. Something's fishy here in this Baron pit. And Mako, with his ward, enough to just dissuade everybody from the side of WE from going for it. Shanks, though, seeing if he can maybe take down Viper. He's going to get jumped in straight away. The headbutt pulverize is good. Shanks goes golden, only to be shot down. Bird is dead by Flandre, and now EDG out of nowhere. WE had full control. EDG does have everything.
Yeah, one messy fight into a second messy fight into picks. It has not gone the way of WE. EDG back away. They're going to be delighted with that gold that they've now put in their back pocket, especially as they start to claw their way back to a more even state against WE.
And this is just such a turnaround, and it's exactly what we talked about. One pick, one opportunity here from EDG, and they will delete you. It doesn't matter if you're Wukong or if you're Elk on this Ashe. It's just there's nothing you can do. And you can see here, he's got the right idea, but the rest of his team just can't follow up.
The big issue here was just miscoordination between WE, right? Breathe was only in the midst of TPing in while the Elk had already used the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, so there's no like setup to give Breathe access to the squishier members of EDG. And Shanks, I don't know what you're thinking here. Like, you have Flash, you also have the ability to just hop over the wall. Like, you're in a terrible spot there. Just back away. Don't risk your life for a bit of poke onto Viper.
And that means now Gold's back to a very respectful deficit for EDG. They'll be very happy with that. They've got themselves mid-tier 1. They stopped the dragon stacking, so WE don't even have that for at minimum another 8 minutes and a half. So you've got yourself opportunities. So here we go. There's the Ash Arrow, not going to land just yet. The Glacial Fish are going to be used instead to try and continue this fight. They know they have a numbers advantage. They're trying to see if they can take down the Cal, turn him into minced beef, and they will. Shut down there onto Mako, but with the damage on the missing coming in, it's enough to try and re-engage this fight, but a great shuffle from Shanks, but he puts himself in harm's way. You can see they're still trying to kill off JJ. This Lee Sin is so tanky. The Cyclone will eventually take him down, but Elk separated from his team, separated from the safety of the rest of his teammates, will have to keep running, throwing back those arrows, seeing if he can just keep himself and the rest of his team alive. It ends up being enough to keep him there, and the rest of his team will be able to catch up to him, but EDG will lose 2 kills, and they'll only gain back 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1 in favor of WE. At least they're able to get something back, get some control back on this map as well. Now, the crucial thing is you have the Flash now up and available for Breathe. His TP is going to be up, so in plays that EDG overextend like this again, you're going to be able to bring in that top laner, maybe look for a little bit more, but unfortunately these Enchanted Crystal Arrows just haven't really been working for them. Elk firing from way far back, Viper with a good sidestep there. Now, they still get onto Mako. This was kind of the thing that we were talking about before, is that Mako has the unbreakable will to protect everyone else, but there's so many slows. There's so many CC opportunities here for WE that once you get caught by one, you're done. And great kick from JJ. Like, the fact that he ends up sending Shanks right before he gets booted away is phenomenal. It actually gets that kill back for EDG.
Well, speaking of kills, we're going to go straight back into this. JJ being taken down a little bit by Breathe on this Wukong, who now has got his Sterix gauge. So doing a pretty good time of tanking up as much as he possibly can. And for EDG, that's the thing they need to be a little bit careful of. They are still not 100% going to be able to win this game. Like we said, it is a very difficult comp to execute on. WE definitely have the ease of composition execution on them. But right now, it does feel like it's EDG making the plays and WE trying to just crawl themselves back into some kind of control.
Yeah, and especially as we talked about, like, WE, they have the tools to find these fights. They're going to be looking towards these big objectives to try and force that, especially Breathe having that TP advantage over on the bottom side. Scout's going to be forced to go and push in with him. So WE trying to bait EDG into this play. Keep your eyes on where Breathe can TP to.
Yeah, Breathe has the TP available to him, as does Scout. This Baron down very, very low, actually. 5,000 HP. You've got the arrow going out. Flandre has the flash. So you get a summoner out of it. Breathes on the backside, though. He has flash available to him, but they know exactly where he is. He's going to be kicked away if he's not careful. JJ doesn't even have to use it as he gets himself right back onto it. The Baron's still available here for the side of WE, but this has fully reset, and Beishang not looking super healthy.
Yeah, WE realize that EDG have the inside track on mid lane, but again, you have to be so careful. When Breathe comes in, he's just not being able to pull the trigger fast enough, not able to get on towards Flandre, not getting Scout or Viper, and now you lose a mid lane turret for your troubles as WE.
Yes, you gained the flash out of Flandre, but you've lost tier 2, and that's more pressure for EDG, more time, more space they have for themselves, and 20 seconds until this dragon spawns. They're going to be the first ones onto the dragon as well, so EDG putting themselves onto 2 Cloud Drakes, putting themselves 2 away, so right now, though, WE, they don't seem interested in that dragon at all. They want to go straight back for this. Viper needs to be a little bit careful, but the rest of EDG is here in tow, and Elk, oh, that's so much damage. He needs to be so careful if Jace is around.
Look at Breed, though. He is the flank of all flanks right now, trying to see if he can get anywhere, but that control ward going to keep him at bay. Needs to see if he can use this flash to get himself in the right position as Dragon is taken by Flandre, has TP to get here.
Yeah, missing into the pit now after using the Unbreakable. They know where Breathe is. They know exactly that he's coming around here. This is Beishan taking very low. Actually pops Hysterics already. So that Dragon Baron down to 2,000. You're going to have the Glacial Fissure used. This is going to be a 50-50. They're going to flip it. It's going to be all down onto this Baron. There's the Scatter of the Week. No, it's not going to be stolen. JJ not able to get in on the queue. You trade a Dragon for a Baron. WE finally get their prize.
Again, though, EDG have this push in mid, so might be able to try and force this, but with the Baron enhanced recalls, WE will be back in time to defend. That was on a hair's breadth for WE. But
oh, no. 3 points.
I mean, I swear, like, Viper will hit, or sorry, Elk will hit one of these. I swear, at some stage he will hit one of these.
And it will be game-changing.
Yeah, but WE now running up the mid lane. And look, this is the first time in the semi-finals where I've got, okay, WE, you definitely have control now. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah, and you can see what they're doing right now. They're just saying, look, we push up that mid lane, we go as a 4-man death ball, we have ways of starting fights and getting on top of people. I will say Mako is still a very big, beefy boy, and they have to be very aware of his engage. They do not want to get caught out by that. So, quickly before we actually see another fight breaking out, you look at the items being picked up. 3 items now for Flandre. He's got himself that Serpent's Fangs. It's great to see exactly where they want to go for as well. But nope, nothing else is going to be happening here. You've got the Archangel Staff finished up here for Scout. You now have that Frozen Heart for the Ezreal. So Viper is going to be very tanky and dishing out a lot of poke damage in these skirmishes as we see the tier 2 going down. But on the other side, 3 items now for Elk alongside that stopwatch. He's got his Bork, his Gwynzus, and his Immortal Shield Bow. We have got Breathe almost getting up towards the Titanic Hydra as well. And this is where the game starts to get a little bit funky and it starts to be less about the items and the gold and more about how you execute on your comp.
It's also the most dangerous portion of it for EDG. They've just moved down bot side. They don't have the vision control, so flanks from the likes of Shanks, Breathe become even more deadly. It's why they've had to see both of these tier 2s, because they just don't have control of the map and can't guarantee their own safety underneath their structures. Shanks now continuing this push in mid. Massive wave on the top side as well. EDG are really being forced back.
They are. 5 people, though, on this bot side. JJ goes forward, but I don't think he wants to stay there, as the rest of WE will back themselves away, take away these jungle camps, continue their ascendancies. They have a 3,500 gold lead. It was looking a little dodgy for them for a few seconds there, but they've used this Baron to great effect. They've now knocked out all the outer turrets, and the only ones left are those inhibitors.
And you're still looking like 2 minutes until the dragon. You get the opportunity here as WE again to start to push in, get these waves in order, keep the vision control nice and tidy in close to EDG's base, and then fall back to dragons, fall back to barons as they start to spawn. Having lost all of your outer turrets make this so much more difficult for EDG to control, because once again, they don't have someone that's very good at face checking into WE's composition.
This game all of a sudden got very tense, got very much down to the 5v5s. 31 minutes coming up now. 3,000 gold lead, or just about under it for the side of WEs. They get themselves reset. We actually see a Void Staff being picked up here for Shanks, so he's got himself that. A couple of extra stopwatches there as well. We will see a very late Wit's End build for Elk as he tries to survive the burst damage coming out from Scout's Syndra. And this is where the game gets a little bit scary. Look at that damage. That's not onto the decoy, but that's onto your tanky, arguably your tankiest member as well. There is no room for error here for Team WE.
Yeah, there's little to no magic resist picked up on WE's side, so Scout, if he can get onto a target, will do work. And that's why I think the best player to call here for EDG is to try and find these picks. See if you can hide Scout and Flandre somewhere. Just burst someone down from long range, but unfortunately they just don't have that control.
Luckily for them, they do have 2 people with abilities, or actually 3 people with abilities in the mid lane right now who can check out these bushes, see if they can find anyone lurking in the shadows. As you can see them there, just using as much as they possibly can. There's the true shot barrage to try and thin out this wave on that bot side. Should be pretty easy now for Scout to drop down a Q and kill them all pretty much instantaneously. As you can see, very, very simple there for him. But 30 seconds till this dragon spawns. I don't think EDG will be fighting for it. I think they'll be very happy to give it up, as WE not quite on the soul point just yet. So definitely not something you want to be losing the game over.
Yeah, it definitely could be worse. It's a Cloud Soul, but looks like EDG now starting to mount the offense. Mako being the front line. This is actually a bit of a precarious spot for WE. I don't like teams fighting around this. Actually, listen to Cajo's stream. This is the IG bush. If anyone doesn't know, go look at his stream to figure out what that means. As IG definitely thrown a few games in that spot, but now WE backing towards the dragon.
Watch Breathe. Look on the minimap and watch Breathe. He's just roaming around so far, trying to find himself behind enemy lines. Dragon has been started by Elk, and it will be finished by Shankson himself. True Shot Barrage has been used and blocked up by the Unbreakable by missing. Now Scout, with a blue buff in hand, will throw it straight to the enemy team and say, hey, I'm in behind you. And now the both teams are on the opposite sides of the map. They try and go for this. It's very clumped up together for the moment. Breathe can't quite get himself on top of anyone. There he goes. He flashes forward. He gets himself on top with the Cyclone. Goes into GA stasis, but it looks like it's EDG perfectly kiting this one out. The damage from WE is just not quite able to get there. Shanks now needs to back himself away, get himself over this wall. Elk will probably have to use his flash as well. And they're being pushed into a corner here, Dagda. There's nothing they can do, but they're on the wrong sides of the map now, WE. They actually have a wave in bot lane if they wanted to go for it, but JJ's so low. They're just being tantalizingly teased right now by EDG. We're just keeping a perfect distance away. Through shot barrage gets blocked by the Unbreakable again, as we can see Viper going forward. There's Flandre jumping in with JJ going down. It's a 2-for-1. There's a shuffle though. It's huge. Can he get the damage? No! It's enough of a burst here from EDG, and that shuffle means nothing. And now they can push up mid with the ace and maybe even end the game.
And now EDG taking over. As he said, 40-second death timers. This could be it. The TPs coming into the wave. EDG want to end this right now. One team fight could have cost it all for WE.
We'll see if they can do it. It's a big old hefty minion wave, as we do have Breathe here. His Cyclone is just up and available. Inhibitor turret down. Inhibitor has fallen. EDG not looking like they want to be stopping anytime soon. There's a great headbutt though right on top of Breathe to stop this Cyclone. He's going for the minions though right now. The Nexus is laid bare. You don't have the damage. You don't have the way of stopping this. And EDG 2-0 up in this series.
One fight gone astray from WE, and it's a disaster for them. Scout absolutely corralling the entirety of WE away from that engagement in that last fight, and it means that with no magic resist to speak of, Scout actually holds strong as Breathe falls and the rest of WE follow.
Great moves here from EDG, and they had so much to lose from it. As we said, their comp was harder to execute on. They had so many things that had to line up absolutely perfectly, and they just made it work. WE faltering right at the final hurdle and really not finding themselves in a great position after that, that botched fight.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was kind of WE's game to continuously keep control, but honestly, I think Scout, MVP once more here, the big issue was that WE had not built any sort of magic resist. Elk was looking at that for his 4th item. He'd only managed to get the Hearthbound Axe. You'd nothing really on the rest of WE as well. So when Scout got into this position where he's able to flank onto them at the Dragon Pit, there was nobody that could actually go forward and tank Scout's damage. So while Breathe is trying to deal with 4 members of EDG, Scout's just manhandling the rest of WE, and EDG can take the fight. I mean, that was phenomenal from EDG and Scout to actually be able to bring this one back.
Honestly, I'm looking at this Jace pick right now for Flandre, and it's just so powerful. Before the fight even begins with these accelerated shock blasts, you're just seeing so much of the health bars from Team WE being absolutely obliterated, and they can't walk.
Well, honestly, I think WE did a kind of poor job of setting up their team fights where they could be in an advantage, right? Like the way that this composition works really well is like when EDG are all kind of grouped up, say they're trying to gain access to the dragon through river and stuff, but they're just not quite able to find that. And oftentimes it means that EDG were getting into positions where they were spread out. There wasn't that like nice front to back for WE, and EDG were able to punish.
Yeah, absolutely. My internet died for a second there. Thankfully, it wasn't during a team fight. So we all G baby. And again, EDG now 1 game away from a finals date with FBX. 1 game away from locking themselves into the World Championships. It's all on the line here. We'll see if WE has anything left to show in this series, or if it's going to be as simple as it is. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and when we return, Game 3 will be happening very, very soon.
For them as LNG trying to move in and contest it. Tarzan is in the pit. In we go with the Magnet Storm. There's a slicing Maelstrom as well. Angel turns gold, but On's already down. Sooning health bars are being obliterated. It's 2 for Light, it's 1 for the Rel as well.
Might be getting caught. Breathe is now going to join the fight. Missing is in some trouble. Uses the Glacial Fissure nicely as the Harrowing Mist is going to be nicely done by Breathe. The big engagement from Cold. The Moonlight Vigil on top of it. And Cold has found himself 2 kills. Now you've got Elk into the fight. The rest of Team WE getting a little bit low.
LNG are hunting, they're smelling blood in the water, they're gonna go for it, they're jumping in, Shockwave does land down, but it's only on the Carson show, not exactly priority carries, you cannot get back over the wall, but look at that TP, that's gonna be Knight joining this fight straight away, he jumps back in, but they knew exactly where he was, and they jumped straight on top of him, Knight is dead, that's a shutdown going over, as Icon picks up another 369, has nowhere to go, and he will also fall, GA down, Jaculov is dead, LNG have found their fight, LNG have found their moment, and LNG will take everything from Top Esports. They're going to look to end the game. And the poke's starting to fly across the Rift. Seeker, there's a flash on the Shanks, the backline. The Aurelia with GA playing aggressive, but the Scout of the Week's the 3-man. The Realm Magnet Storm as well. It's a bit of a mosh pit here, even in COVID times. That's dangerous. BLG survived at the time being, but aiming on the backline, having free space. The satchel charge gives none of it though. Elk goes down in the end. Lyric, you're a color caster. Analyze that one. Trying to move into Rare Adam. Rare Adam with the final Hail Mary touchdown call to try and get themselves. And they go in. Shanks is huge! The Ring of Frost sets it all up. Cube trying to turn it back around, but his fight is all but over. Beishong on the backside. Fofo cannot do nothing. Fun to watch. We talked about FBX getting out of it, making themselves known, but the false duet onto Icon again. Chris with the flash in. Icon in trouble. The Winter's Bite sets up for the concussive blows. Elk doing everything he can. So many Mystic shots, so many True Shot barrages. Shanks into the pit as well. Viper still surviving, still has his GA. Elder getting low here. There is no jungler for WE. The Smite will... No! Oh, he gets Elk it! Steals it! The perfect play from Elk, because Shanks finds a kill onto Mako.
They want to try and go for mid-priority, but the last wave's already gone. It was just to stay out for their stakes. Now Shahu's
Go Crime, Sonic Wave onto Crime, there's the flash as well into the backline. Tarzan's there with the kick, it's a 3-man 2! LNG there, the rookies, and they've just been set up for success from a world's jungler, Smurfing, but he's trying to get out for now. He's caught over the wall, Ale will follow through. It's a messy fight, but LNG winning it. They need to kill Gala as Shahu goes forward with the Gore Drinker. Double scuttle, big start here for Tarzan, but now the dive starts onto Doomby. We saw this coming. He flashes out of the way. The MVP just gets O1'd with the Haymaker. He sticks around. It counts as a solo kill.
Is it already gone? Yes, smited away, but look at the collapse from Arley. They have to pick a position. RNG are already low. Arley's there to try and win the series, but the scout of the week stops them. RNG winning the fight as Tarzan goes in for the kick. He gets the execution on Dway, but now Tarzan in such a bad position. Gala missing Mystic shots. Doesn't matter as the Arc inches forward. Golden is Icon. Right there with the Satchel charge. The Realm Warp. RNG now losing the fight, but Gala again on the Ezreal. Goes forward. This AD carry, an absolute masterclass.
It could all just be so simple, baby. If you wanted to be mine, you don't gotta be shy. Relax your mind, relax your mind. Don't take your time, don't take your time. It's alright, it's alright. Stay a while, 'cause I can be everything you wanna make. I could be everything you need to make to be. So I don't wanna wait, I know you're feeling me. So why don't you feel on me? Why don't you feel on me? I know you're feeling me. So why don't you feel on me? I'ma throw it back, then I'ma let you catch it. I'ma whip it up, then I'ma let you. 'Cause I know you're feeling. So why don't you feel on me? Yeah. You got 5 senses, so take your time with all them. 'Cause I need you to look at it before you go to just tasting and feeling on me. You know there's a cookie here, but before you go tasting, I need you to breathe. 'Cause I wanna be everything you need, and I need to be everything you want to be. So I don't wanna wait, I know you're feeling me. So why don't you feel on me? Why don't you feel on me? I know you're feeling me. So why don't you feel on me? I'ma throw it back, then I'ma let you catch it. I'ma whip it up, then I'ma let. 'Cause I know you're feeling me. So why don't you feel on me? Yeah. So why don't you feel